So right around the corner from the doctor's office is the Andares shopping mall.
Mercado Andares. This is like here on the corner, a food court.
Okay.
Well, it's not really a court. It's like 6 restaurants.
Stop this video. We're back for the 3rd time. This is the 3rd time we've come here. And how
3rd
many
time's the
years?
charm, right?
4 years?
Almost 4.
It's taken about 4 years.
It's like 3.33 years.
Yep, we are in Guadalajara. Particularly, we're in Zapopan.
We're in the Antares.
For 3 years, I've been saying it incorrectly. I've been saying Zapopan.
Zapopan.
I think it's Zapopan.
Zapopan.
Zapopan. I'm from the South, y'all. I can't.
Somebody thought you were from Canada yesterday.
Somebody asked me yesterday, "Are you from Canada?" And he was British. I was like, "Are you from Canada?" He was like, "No, I am from
England.
England."
He's a big, tall, black man.
Yep. Very helpful. Very nice, those people over there. If he represents all of them, he may not.
The British are nice and kind.
Okay, we're here. We're here.
At least in Mexico.
The Puerta de
Mexico.
Hierro. And I just wanted to show you what it looks like. We have several other videos, but I don't think we have like a review on this hospital.
It's a nice hospital.
The location. So we'll do that now.
It's a great location. It's easy to get to. It's right off the road.
We actually do have a video called Why I Went to Mexico for IVF and Why You Should Too. And it is a review on the facility, which is Instituto de Vida. That video explains why I went to Mexico for IVF and didn't stay in the States or go somewhere else. It also includes a review of the Fertility Clinic, Instituto Vida, that is inside of the hospital, Puerta de Hierro, which is right next door to the Andares shopping mall. I know it gets a little confusing. If you're wanting to know why I chose Mexico for IVF or what my experience was like at this fertility clinic, that is the video for you. But in this video, we're going to talk about safety of Mexican medical tourism as a whole, as well as my experience here. Did I feel safe? Did I feel like they were as technologically advanced as America? And the steps you should go through when you're choosing a medical tourism facility so that you stay safe as well.
So you can see where this area over here, where the hospital is.
Known as the Andares.
The hospital is right down there. We just walked like
Palm tree right there.
right 50 steps. Look at this cute little Pomeranian over here across the street. Look at these palm trees. Like, it's beautiful over here. And this is, what were you calling it, Drew? What kind of area did you say this was?
Hoity-toity.
This is the hoity-toity area.
So this is indeed a luxury area of Mexico, and there is quite a bit of difference in some of the upscale neighborhoods and some of the lower income areas. And so whenever you're looking for a place to get medical tourism, I would suggest you would find a more upscale area. You can do that by checking reviews on Facebook as well as Google reviews. I like to take the location and put it separately into Google Maps and then explore from there, because sometimes the photos that are submitted by the company themselves they don't always give the full picture. They may show the building, but they don't show the neighborhood, and that is very important. One of the coolest things that I have found over here in Mexico specifically is their level of care. So all the doctors that I have dealt with have given me their WhatsApp number. WhatsApp is an app. It is like an international phone number app, a messaging app. They will give you their phone number and you will put it in WhatsApp, and then you can contact them 24/7. Also, WhatsApp auto-translate, so that takes the translation issue off the table. If your doctor does not give you their WhatsApp and does not have basically 24/7 the ability to contact them, then that is not a reputable doctor. We've done several medical procedures in Mexico, and so far we haven't had a problem. We've had the top level of care, and we've saved a lot of money. We obviously started our medical tourism journey for fertility, but over here we have met people and they have given us great recommendations, and we ended up getting some dentistry and dermatology done as well. And of course, the ability to have an amazing vacation, all while getting some work done, is always a plus. I think one of the most important things would probably be concerning location. I would advise to absolutely not go to a touristy location to get your health care done. In Mexico specifically, places like Puerto Vallarta and Cancun are highly advertised to American tourists. These are popular tourist destinations, and as so, the propensity for nefariousness is much higher. We have, of course, been to these locations, but what we did is we went to a large city, like I would go to like Mexico City or Guadalajara to get my medical done, and then on the tail end or before, I'd spend a week in Puerto Vallarta or Cancun or whatever beach you're planning on going to. All our fertility stuff was done in Guadalajara, and I couldn't ask for a better experience.
All right around the corner is the Andares shopping mall, which is right around the corner from the hospital, and it's one of the largest luxury shopping malls in Latin America. You can get a drink, and we had a piece of
Banana bread.
pan de platano, but you can get whatever. And we have several videos on Andares and going shopping in it and checking it out and stuff. But it is, as Drew says, it's the hoity-toity area. It's the nicer area of town, and it's a little more expensive than other things, but it is very safe over here.
So even though we're in the luxury area of Mexico, it's still quite affordable compared to U.S. standards. IVF in Mexico is about $20,000 or more, and here an IVF procedure will run you between $5,000 and $7,000 depending on where you go. Here's a quick look inside my clinic. It looks just like any other clinic in the States, nothing different there. It is, of course, inside the hospital, which I believe gives an extra level of security. Of course, because it is connected to the hospital, that means the clinic has access to technology that other smaller clinics might not have.
So this time we just did an ultrasound with the doctor to look at my lining size. He says it needs to be 7.5. Last time my progesterone was too high, so our cycle got canceled. This time we want to keep my progesterone low. Really, there's nothing you can do. He said he wasn't really worried about it. But last time we were intending on doing a fresh cycle. We had problems with that, the timing on that, so that was the problem. This time I don't think the timing is going to be as much as the issue, because these are frozen embryos, and he said they have 5 days of development on them, so you just need to get my body to 5 days of development. We are increasing the lining size with more estrogen than I've ever taken in my whole entire life. He added more, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we're increasing this lining, and we're gonna try to get these embryos in.
As I mentioned, one of the biggest parts of any fertility protocol is medication, and it is one of the biggest costs when it comes to fertility treatments. In Mexico, the prices of medication, as you can see in this chart, are considerably cheaper. So while the cost of my stimulation was about $2,500, I did have to pay for the medication separately. But as you can see, the medications aren't that expensive. Even though I was taking estrogen 20 times a day, it was just, a couple dollars. For the majority of these medications, you do not need a prescription. You can just go into a pharmacy and purchase the medication. Medication is cheaper in Mexico because they don't have insurance companies that negotiate prices like we do in the US. In most situations, you get the very same medications that we have in the US. They might just be a different name, but the active ingredient is the same. And as you can see, we've done a lot of videos on specific medications in Mexico. And one thing I always get asked is, how do you know you're not getting counterfeit medications? And there is a very good way to do that, and that is to go to a reputable pharmacy. As I mentioned earlier, if you are in a tourist place like Puerto Vallarta or Cancun, you will find these little shops, these little pharmacies, corner pharmacies that are everywhere, pharmacias. And my doctor said I would not trust those places. Instead, you want to go to reputable pharmacies like Farmacia Guadalajara or Farmacia Similares, which is the largest pharmacy in Mexico. So stay away from these small pharmacies and instead go to big reputable chains. Stimulating, I took so many medications. I took HGH, which over here is called Sizin. They're all made by Merck, sorry. I took Perjavarius, which is the LH and FSH mix injectable, and I took Centrotide, or as they call it over here, Centrotide. If you tell them you're on Centrotide, they will not know what you're talking about. You tell them Centrotide is what it's called. That's what stops your ovulation. So that was 3 shots a day, injectables for 13 days. So when you're doing stimulation cycles specifically, you need to keep that in mind, that you will be paying out of pocket for your medication and that you will be doing a lot of medication. Now with embryo transfers, it's a lot cheaper because all you really need is progesterone and estrogen, and of course that's pretty dirt cheap. And because of that, it was basically cheaper to use a donor egg over here than it is to try to stimulate yourself, because you have to pay for all these extra medications. Lots of clinics have donor eggs because women who do stimulation cycles make lots of eggs, and once they create their embryos and have their babies, they have lots of them left over. And because of religious reasons, lots of people don't want to discard those embryos, so they just donate them to the clinic. And so therefore they have these embryos left over. So you can often get embryos for less than it costs to actually buy the medications and do stimulations yourself. I did a ton of research before coming over to Mexico, deciding on my doctor, and I suggest you do a lot of research as well. Most fertility clinics do free consults, and I did several consultations online with doctors of other countries before I decided where I was going. Because getting a 43-year-old woman pregnant is 100% about science. And because this fertility clinic is in a hospital, they do have access to cutting-edge science. I investigated the labs and the type of machines that they use before we came. Now, one thing Mexico doesn't do is require the publishing of their IVF results, live birth results, where in America they are supposed to require the publishing of live birth results. That can sometimes keep clinics from taking older or high-risk patients because it skews their numbers. The more failed IVF procedures they have, the worse their numbers look. So sometimes they just outright refuse to take those patients. And patients like me who are older are usually the ones that end up getting the shaft. And in fact, that is something we kept running up against here in America. Doctors really didn't want to do IVF procedures on me because the likelihood of me having a live birth was so low because of my age. Because they don't do those types of studies in Mexico, they had no problem seeing me. As long as I have the ability to pay, I'm still menstruating and can create a lining, and I am under 50, they were willing to do an IVF procedure on me. And of course, they run a bunch of tests on you and do labs, and they want you to be in good health and be able to carry a pregnancy to term. And so that is what we did. So if you've watched this far, you may have realized that this video is being made after the fact. And if you want to know how it all turned out, you'll have to watch my other videos. I have videos on creating embryos and my IVF process, the transfer, and all of that. And I'd really appreciate if you watch them. It does support me in this journey, and I need all the support I can get. So thank you. Unless you have excellent health coverage and insurance that covers several cycles of IVF, I would strongly suggest giving medical tourism, especially in Mexico, a second look. The IVF market is increasing rapidly, and there is good reason for this. Navigating the American healthcare system is difficult and expensive. And I have found healthcare in Mexico to be affordable, obtainable, and safe, as well as on the cutting edge of science. All in all, my flight to Mexico was about $250. My stimulation cycle was about $2,500. And my actual IVF procedure or embryo transfer was another $2,500. We stayed in Airbnbs, which cost about $18 to $25 a night, and all of this is a fraction of the $21,000 they wanted for one cycle in the United States. And you should keep in mind that you are not guaranteed anything in this life, but you're definitely not guaranteed for your first cycle to work. So if you save money on the front end, it gives you the ability to do more cycles in the future if that turns out to be something you need to do. Plus, you will get an amazing experience, an awesome vacation. You will fall in love with Mexico, I guarantee it. And you will learn so much about Mexican culture and the rich heritage of the Mexican people. And you will eat so much excellent Mexican food. So what are you waiting for? Just do a little research and don't let fear or the media stop you from making your dreams come true. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out our other videos. We have so many videos on IVF in Mexico. You can find them on our channel. We have a playlist called IVF in Mexico, so feel free to check it out. And if you have any questions, put them down in the comments and I will gladly answer them. Good luck and tons of baby dust to you.
We have a bit to the Mercado and Ari's. What's over there?
That's where those restaurants are.
Oh, okay. And this is the landmark. It wasn't open last time we were here.